You're paying Google for local services ads. The phone is ringing, and the dashboard says you generated 40 leads. But when you check the actual schedule, only 9 of those leads became booked jobs. That is a very different result. This is where contractors get fooled by the dashboard. Google can generate leads exactly as promised, while the campaign still produces disappointing revenue. Because the real funnel is not just leads. It is leads, answered conversations, qualified opportunities, booked jobs, completed customers, and then revenue. So, the metric that matters is not how many leads entered the top. It's how much business survived the whole funnel. Here are 7 places where that process usually breaks. Mistake number 1 is treating a lead like a win. A local services lead is only an opportunity to start a conversation. It has not become a customer, a job, or revenue yet. If you stop measuring at the lead, you are measuring the handoff instead of the outcome. Say an HVAC company spends $3,000 and generates 40 leads. On the surface, that is $75 per lead. That number can look perfectly acceptable in a report, especially if the owner is comparing it with other advertising channels. Now follow those 40 leads. 26 get answered. 17 turn out to be legitimate opportunities. 9 actually book. 7 become completed customers. The lead count never changed, but the business result changed at every step. That drop-off is where the real economics live. That means the company did not really acquire 40 customers for $75 each. It acquired 7 completed customers from $3,000 in spend. The true acquisition cost is about $429 per customer. Whether that is good or bad depends on what those customers are worth. Mistake number 2 happens after Google has already done the expensive part. A homeowner chooses your ad and calls your business. You paid to create that opportunity. Then nobody answers. The lead is technically delivered, but the sales process never even starts. That is a paid lead with 0 conversation. For emergency HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roofing, or other urgent home service work, the customer usually is not committed to your company yet. So they do not wait. If contractor number 1 sends them to voicemail, they call contractor number 2, then contractor 3, until somebody answers. The first business to create a useful conversation often has a huge advantage in getting that job on the calendar. And 1 missed call can create 2 losses. The obvious loss is the job you never got to quote. The second is responsiveness. Missed calls may negatively affect responsiveness, and responsiveness is one of the factors used in local services ad ranking. Every paid lead needs a handoff. That can be a live person, an AI receptionist, an instant text response, or a rapid callback process. The exact tool matters less than the standard. A customer Google just sent you should not disappear because nobody picked up. Mistake number 3 is targeting jobs you do not actually want. Local services ads lets you choose job types and services that help determine which searches can make your ad eligible. The temptation is to turn on everything, because more eligibility sounds like more opportunity. But more job types do not automatically mean better leads. An HVAC company may really want emergency repair, heat pumps, system replacements, and profitable service work. While the account is eligible for nearly every service it can technically perform, that creates volume without necessarily creating the right volume. Now, part of the budget can go toward low-value work, jobs the company rarely closes, or services that do not fit the way the team is staffed. A lead can be valid and still be a poor economic fit for your business. Those are 2 different questions. Google may recommend broader job type coverage because that can generate more lead volume, but more leads are not automatically more profit. If certain job types consistently produce low tickets, weak close rates, or poor margins, there is no business reason to keep paying for more of them. Target the work you actually want to sell. Mistake number 4 is treating the service area like a bragging contest. Contractors love saying they serve the entire metro. That may be true operationally, but it doesn't mean every part of that metro is equally valuable to advertise into. Imagine a service call 42 miles away that produces a $250 ticket. Add drive time, fuel, technician availability, and the chance that the customer does not buy anything beyond the initial call. Distance can turn a valid lead into weak economics fast. Now, compare that with a customer 10 miles away, a $900 average ticket, and a much higher close rate. Both locations are inside the service area, both can generate leads, but one territory is dramatically more valuable to the business than the other. The same thing applies to your service area. Google wants enough territory to find more customers, but Google does not have to dispatch a technician 40 miles, pay the fuel, absorb the windshield time, and make the margin work. You do. Optimize the territory around profitable customers, not simply maximum visibility. Mistake number 5 is assuming the cure for weak performance is simply to bid more. When lead volume falls, the instinct is to raise the bid, raise the budget, and hope the account forces its way upward. But local services ads do not work like a simple highest bid wins auction. A higher bid can improve competitiveness, but it does not automatically buy the number 1 position. The auction also considers overall profile quality and how likely the ad is to result in a lead. Money matters, but money is only one input. Google also looks at responsiveness, relevance to the customer's search, the services you provide, reviews, rating, average response time, profile information, images, verification, and other signals that influence user preference. A bigger bid cannot permanently hide a weak customer experience. Google's maximize lead strategy does exactly what the name says. It tries to maximize leads within the system. But your goal is not to maximize leads. Your goal is to maximize profitable jobs. If Google finds you more $75 leads that become unprofitable service calls, the algorithm can succeed while your business loses. And do not keep changing the account every 24 hours. It can take about 2 weeks for the bidding model to adjust and produce accurate results. Make a meaningful change, track what happens, and give the system enough time to stabilize before changing it again. Mistake number 6 is forgetting that showing up is not the same thing as getting chosen. Your ad can appear right next to a competitor's ad and still lose the customer before the phone ever rings. At that point, reputation and trust become conversion factors. Imagine Company A has a 4.2 rating with 29 reviews. Company B has a 4.9 rating with 186. Star rating and review volume affect local services competitiveness, and stronger ratings and more reviews typically help providers stand out and book more jobs. So think about 2 separate battles, getting shown and getting chosen. Visibility gets you into the consideration set. Reputation helps turn that visibility into a click, call, message, or booking. Winning the first battle does not guarantee you win the second. And this is where your Google business profile connects directly to local services ads. Local services customer reviews are managed through business profile, and business profile reviews can appear in your LSA profile. The reputation you build on Google follows the customer into the ad. Mistake number 7 is the metric mistake, obsessing over cost per lead. $75 per lead might be useful for comparing campaigns, but by itself it tells you almost nothing about whether the advertising is creating profitable customers. It measures acquisition too early. Start with cost per book job. If $3,000 in spend creates 9 bookings, you are paying about $333 for each book job. Now you are measuring closer to the point where the business can actually generate revenue. Then go one step further. If only 7 of those booked jobs become completed new customers, 3,000 divided by 7 gives you a customer acquisition cost of about $429. That is the number you compare against gross profit, repeat business, and customer lifetime value. Now, connect the spend to revenue. If those 7 completed customers produce $8,400, the campaign generated $2.80 in revenue for every dollar of ad spend. That does not automatically mean it is profitable, because labor and overhead still matter, but now you can actually evaluate it. This is the dashboard an owner should care about. 40 leads, 26 answered, 17 qualified, 9 booked, 7 completed, and $8,400 in revenue. Every stage tells you where money is leaking. The final number tells you whether the system deserves more budget. So fix the system in this order. First, answer every lead quickly. If the customer cannot reach you, nothing else in the account gets a chance to work. Second, review your job types. Keep the services that support the work you want to grow, and stop buying unnecessary exposure for work you consistently do not want. Third, know your territory economics. Do not judge an area only by whether you can physically serve it. Judge it by close rate, ticket size, drive time, and margin. Fourth, strengthen the reputation customers see when they compare you with everyone else. Better reviews, a stronger rating, complete information, and a trustworthy profile help turn visibility into selection. Fifth, track the numbers that happen after the lead: qualified opportunities, booked jobs, completed customers, acquisition cost, and revenue. That is how you find the actual leak. Then optimize the whole funnel. Lead, answer, qualify, book, complete, revenue. The goal of local services ads is not a prettier lead dashboard. The goal is more profitable jobs. If you want the profitability checklist I would use to diagnose an LSA account, comment LSA below. I'll show you the numbers and account areas I would check first. And if this helped you look at Google Leads differently, hit like, subscribe, and share it with another contractor who is paying for leads but not seeing enough jobs. More leads are useless if they never become revenue.